Well, I'm Salima Moolji, and I am the Executive Director for the Dallas 2030 District. How many of you have heard of the Dallas 2030 District? Oh, good. Okay. Well, I have a lot of members here as well, so I'll introduce them as well. There are 15 established districts, 4 emerging districts, and here in Texas, we've got 3 of them. We have Dallas, San Antonio, and Austin. And I don't know if you guys know, but SPEAR, which is South Central Partnership for Energy Efficiency as a Resource, is our fiscal sponsor, and we have Jason and Eric here from SPEAR. So we promote energy, water, and transportation sustainability, and specifically in downtown Dallas. Our goal is to reduce energy and water consumption 50% by 2030. So with all of those 15 districts, we have over 294 million square feet dedicated to the 2030 districts. Where does Dallas fall? Dallas falls 5th in the 15 districts. We currently have over 22 million square feet dedicated to the district and over 35 buildings. We have 3 types of members at the Dallas 2030 District. We have building owners and managers, we've got professional members, and community members. So let me go through those real quick. So I couldn't fit all of the buildings on my list, but I did try to put as many as possible. But we've got over 35 buildings. So these building owners join the district because they want to be energy efficient, they want to be sustainable, and they want to align with the goals of the 2030 district. And how are they going to do that? Well, the second type of membership we have are our professional members. And these members, remember, there are experts. They have case studies, they have market knowledge, they know about the rebates, and they know all about energy efficiency and sustainability. So we depend on them to keep the building owners on target and on goal. And then we've got community members, so from AIA all the way down to the COG, of course, and PACE. They are community members, and they give us resources, and we try to collaborate with them because there are so many events in Dallas, as everybody knows. So we try to collaborate with our community members for education and outreach. And if you are a Dallas 2030 member, please raise your hand. If you have any questions at all, they're here to answer them, or if you want to hear about a testimonial, they're available for that as well. So what do we do as members and community participation? So here are a few things that we've done throughout the year. We actually launched the Dallas 2030 District back in February. We were at the Crow Collection, which is a part of the Dallas 2030 District. And we had an event there where we talked about what we do and what we're going to be doing for downtown Dallas. So actually Trammell Crow, who is Earth Day Texas, is a part of the Dallas 2030 District. He spoke about Earth Day Texas, sustainability in downtown Dallas. We had Michelle Martin. She is from Granite Properties, and she's one of our members. She gave a testimonial. And then we had Bob King, who's from SPEAR, and he spoke about sustainability and the Dallas 2030 District. You can see all the things that we events that we participated in. Yesterday we were at the ULI conference. We also presented there. We celebrated our 1-year anniversary in June. Just earlier this summer. And so since then, since I guess it's now 18 months, we are at 22 million square feet. So that's pretty exciting for us. We're really big on education, training, and networking. So topics covered this year are electric audits, water conservation, energy codes. We did PACE. Technology, and we did controls. And some upcoming topics for next year, we've got air quality, building envelope, building safety, healthy buildings, healthy bodies. We've got green leasing. We're currently, since we have so many buildings, I get a lot of requests for building tours. And then we've got portfolio manager training. So I'm going to play a quick video. We were actually interviewed back in May, and this aired on television, so I have a quick little snip of it. It's about 2 minutes, so I'm going to run that.
And all around the farmers market, an initiative is underway to make downtown buildings more eco-friendly. It's called the Dallas 2030 District, and it's making great strides in achieving a lofty goal.
The Dallas 2030 District is defined as the uptown and downtown portions of Dallas, Texas. It runs from Lamar to McKinnon in downtown Dallas, and currently covers approximately 18 million square feet as of June 1st, 2016. The goal of the Dallas 2030 District is to reduce electric and water consumption by 50% by 2030. This helps businesses because we are promoting energy, water, and transportation sustainability, and we're making Dallas not just a good place, but a great place.
Dallas has a lot of large commercial office buildings that consume a lot of energy, and commercial office buildings today consume about 70% of the electricity produced in the United States. So if we can make a difference as the city of Dallas with our large portfolio, we're really making a difference.
I decided to join the 2030 District because I thought that it would be a great asset and a benefit to our property.
One of the things that we have done being in Dallas 2030 is we've taken advantage of the professional consultants, we've taken advantage of the classes that they offer.
We do a lot of lunch and learns and networking, so people who are not specifically in real estate or sustainability can learn about it.
The education is invaluable. I believe that the networking is going to be a great resource for anybody that joins.
Since I've joined, it's been a great opportunity to meet like-minded people in the industry, share ideas, share passions. It's been great with our lunch and learns to be able to share technology and opportunities to cut energy.
Everybody that's involved, they really believe in this, and they really believe that we can make Dallas a better place and more sustainably friendly. My own electricity consumption, I can see we're going to be saving thousands of dollars in the near future. And so that's a great benefit to my ownership as well as and directly that I can pass through onto my tenants.
Dallas 2030 is a great group of people. They care about one another, they help one another, and it's just a great organization to have a common goal, make your buildings as sustainable and energy efficient as possible, one building at a time.
To learn more about the Dallas 2030 District and learn how you can help, visit their website at 2030districts.org.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. It was testimonials from our own members, so hopefully you enjoyed that. Here is, if you want to keep up with us on social media, we're on everything pretty much. And then there is my contact information if you have any further questions. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Sam Gunderson. I'm with the City of Fort Worth. I'm the conservation specialist there. So my primary duties are actually working within city facilities, being basically the function of an energy manager on the demand side of it. So working to build and then manage and then make sure we're seeing performance of projects within about 5.7 million square feet that we actively manage of the city's 10 million square feet that we touch in some way or another. What I'm going to talk about today, though, is the Fort Worth Better Buildings Challenge. So this is a component of my job. This is a piece that basically is what we do all of our private sector outreach through. So previously to about 2012, we just worked on city facilities. We didn't do any outreach. We left that up to Encore, other entities that had funds or support to go out and encourage energy efficiency in the private sector. In 2012, with the DOE coming out, Department of Energy coming and saying, you know, we'd like to see cities more involved, and we would like, as a federal government, to get more involved in the private sector. We went together and put together some program that could do that. So that's what I'll briefly cover today, and then hopefully go a little deeper in Q&A as y'all dig into the things that I missed. So as I said, it started in 2012 with the Department of Energy coming out with the Better Buildings Initiative. So the initiative has several different components that fall under that umbrella, the challenge being one of them. The tagline of the challenge is pushing towards a 20% energy reduction by the year 2020. So their intent is they don't come in, they don't give you money to do it, they don't tell you how to do it, they just say this is the goal, you come up with ways and you share it with each other about how you're getting towards that goal. Focuses on energy. They have included a water component more recently. The structure is basically two different entities. You have partners and you have allies. So partners are property owners and managers that commit building stock to the 20% by 2020 goal. Allies are organizations that have other resources. So North Texas Association of Energy Engineers, the U.S. Green Building Council, Fort Worth Chamber of Commerce, entities like that. So when Fort Worth joined, we realized we needed to come up with some way to organize and structure this because, again, we hadn't done any outreach, so we'd only worked internally. So we wanted to come up with some way to have the Fort Worth Better Buildings Challenge. We figured we'd better follow the DOE's model, at least to an extent, since they're the ones who started this deal. So we came up basically with our own definitions of partners and allies, but following that same general structure of partners being entities that have building stock to commit towards the reduction goals, allies having other resources, and came up with a local governance group of basically an advisory committee. That's a 16-seat structure that has 4 city departments serving on it, as well as 12 private sector representatives from our ally organizations, which I'll cover here in a second. And the general approach or process that we follow that gives the value add to partners, so why a property owner would join Fort Worth Better Buildings versus just doing the effort and the initiatives on their own, is following a basic structure to be aware of what the opportunities are through benchmarking and a free opportunity assessment that's offered through some of our subcommittees, building project support internally, which varies depending on what size and type of organization they are, but really relying on our other members to say what experiences they've gone through, and then implementation. The biggest part of this is making sure that our partners are looking at their performance, so they're seeing what they expect to see and not just assuming they're going to see it, and if they don't see it, making sure they understand some steps to take towards that. Because our real goal here is to get to that small to medium sector, and so we want to make sure we get to those guys who don't have an energy manager, who don't have a building manager, who can go out and start looking at these projects that have never looked at them before. Why join? So no cost. It's a wholly voluntary agreement. We're not trying to trap anybody into anything. The city's not coming in and saying, hey, sign up to this 20% by 2020 goal and we're going to beat a bat over your head if you don't do it. We're saying, it's wholly voluntary at any time. It can be terminated. We want you to come join our network voluntarily, and we want to work with you to figure out how to implement solutions. There are lots of networking opportunities similar to the 2030 district. We have tours. This is a tour actually of Comanche Peak, where one of the energy managers from one of our partners came out. We have your typical lunch and learns. We have networking events, things of that nature. And then following that process that I briefly covered. So the free opportunity assessment, the benchmarking classes, things of that nature, and then access to the network to talk to other energy managers or property managers or whatever else your job is to figure out how they went about achieving their goals and finding success within their organization. So we're at 22 million square feet as of the end of calendar year 2015, and we're currently seeing a 17% energy reduction within our portfolio. So from a calendar year, 2009 calendar year to a 2015 calendar year, which we were allowed per DOE guidelines to go up to 3 years prior. So we're tracking towards our goal. We still have a little ways to go, and we do sometimes take steps forward and back because we're constantly growing. So if we get somebody that comes into the network that has 2 million square feet that is potentially underperforming to the network standard, then that would take us a step back. But it's more important to us to grow and become a more engaged network than necessarily just to hit that number. And this is what our network looks like. So the ally organizations you see on the left are the entities that have committed undefined resources and are on our advisory committee and actually serve towards pushing the network in a direction that they see fit, including things like adding water previously, having subcommittees that report back that actually perform the opportunity assessments and other things. And then on the right you have the partners. So these are the entities that actually have committed building stock to the initiative. You can see the city of Fort Worth there, obviously as a partner and an ally, and then lots of other partners within the Fort Worth city limits. So there's my contact information. Thank you very much, and I guess we'll take questions at the end. Okay.
My name is Stephanie Byrd. I work for Schneider Electric, and our tagline today for Schneider is "Life is on," which is really jazzy. But essentially it means we believe energy is life and that everyone should have access to it as we're undergoing this new energy revolution where everything is becoming more digital, more decentralized, and more decarbonized. So the epitome of these three trends and a promising technology for the future is the microgrid, and that's what I'm here or was asked to speak about today. So I've put the classic definition here on the screen we'll go through. For one, a microgrid produces energy on site. It is usually multiple buildings, but within a defined geographical boundary. It is able to disconnect from the larger grid and operate on its own. It usually incorporates advanced controls or communications or software that allow you to do energy management and other services. And then lastly, it's usually customer or third-party owned. So let's just go over some of the basics here. In a microgrid, you've got, this is kind of, I guess it's a little bit of a mess, so hopefully it'll show up okay. You've got the loads here, the customer site, and then you've got the distributed energy resources, or DERs. And this is typically on-site renewables, or it's power generating facilities such as natural gas or combined heat and power. You have the utility grid nearby, and then you've got the most important part is the switch or the controller. And this is really the brains of the entire operation. This is what allows you to disconnect from the utility in the event of an outage or for another reason and use only the DERs on site. This is one of the main reasons someone would want a microgrid, is to be able to disconnect and have that resiliency or reliability. A second reason someone would want a microgrid is to incorporate green energy, something like storage or solar. And these are usually people that need energy, and in the past they've relied on diesel generators or uninterruptible power supplies, so letting them switch to a greener source reduces their fossil fuel consumption and thus emissions. And then the third major reason someone would want a microgrid is efficiency. It's to optimize their entire energy system. With the controller and with software, the microgrid is able to automate and optimize when you produce, when you consume, when you store, or when you sell electricity. So this is a diagram of the microgrid at the Encore facility in Lancaster, which is home to their systems operating services facility. I know there's Encore people that can check me on that. And it's also now home to their microgrid demonstration project, which is actually 4 different microgrids tied together. It's got 9 different distributed generation sources, and the controller there in the picture balances the loads versus what's consumed. It safeguards the entire operations, and it allows you to switch seamlessly from grid to off-grid mode. Now, Encore is kind of an unusual microgrid customer for us and for others, because by law in Texas, they're not allowed to sell or put power back onto the grid. So this is really a pure demonstration project, and I will go into a more city project a little bit later. So who are the typical customers, I guess, that really want reliable energy, green energy that they can control whenever they want to? Probably sounds good to a lot of people, but there are some larger energy users that really benefit from a microgrid, and that is universities, data centers, municipalities, laboratories, manufacturers, or military bases. And since this is a panel on cities, I have one more example to share. So the coastal town of Fairfield, Connecticut, it's one of the best places in America to live, apparently. But the citizens there were really worried about these storms of the century and how they were just kind of becoming the new normal. So in 2012, the governor passed legislation that called for the state to improve its emergency preparedness. And in turn, Connecticut became the first state in the nation to have a program that funds the development of microgrids at critical facilities. So Fairfield was one of the first cities to get a $1.1 million grant to build a microgrid project. And that included replacing a diesel generator with a natural gas one at the police headquarters. They installed 2 different solar systems, one at a shelter and one at the fire station. And they also reduced their load and consumption at the police and fire headquarters by 250,000 kilowatt hours a year. So Connecticut was able to take advantage of lower fuel cost and consumption, and they were also able, through the advanced technology of the microgrid, to optimize when they should produce, consume, store, or sell electricity. Now, there are some other revenue sources that are potentially available to someone that owns a microgrid. For example, you can charge whoever is using your microgrid. You can sell services, potentially, to the utility, such as frequency regulation. You can sell power back onto the grid. You can sell renewable energy credits in the market. So besides those benefits, there are also some intangible benefits that are harder to put an ROI on, but they are there nonetheless. So reliability. What would be the cost if a power outage at a university killed one of their lab rats with 20 years of genetic research built into it? Economic growth. So this is where cities and states are really seeing microgrids as a lever to attract these high-tech companies that really need their energy secure and business continuity. And then security. The estimates here I see are really high. For example, the National Renewable Energy Laboratory estimated the security at one of our military forts to be somewhere around $2.2 to $3.9 million a year. So all something that you could probably put a price tag on, it's just a little bit harder. And that is all that I have to share right now, but I welcome your questions and look forward to the discussion.
First, I was feeling bad because I didn't have a PowerPoint presentation, and then I end up on a panel with somebody that's got a video, so going the wrong direction here. My name is Jerry Dennis. I'm the energy manager for DFW International Airport, and I always enjoy coming to these types of forums to talk about different energy aspects, and one of the things I was looking at is the connectivity that I have with almost everyone in the room. I was actually born and raised in this area, born in Fort Worth. We have Fort Worth here. I live in Arlington. Arlington's here. My kids went to the Mansfield Independent School District and graduated. Thank you. I got my associate's degree from Tarrant County College, and they were here. I worked with Encore for 20 years, and I have to fill out that annual report to NCTCOG, so I think I've hit just about everybody. But it is nice to be in a group with everybody who kind of has similar backgrounds and understands the language that you speak. When I was first asked to participate in this forum, we were talking about where they would, fit me in, and they said, "Okay, let's look at the innovation panel." And I said, "Okay, what innovation do you want me to talk about?" And they said, "Well, you guys kind of do everything." Well, that happens to be one of our strategies: just do everything. So what I'm going to do today is kind of give you just a shotgun blast of all of the things that we do at DFW Airport that we think is innovative and that we have built upon over the years. My department is responsible for both supply side and demand side management. So we're going to start with the supply side, the way we purchase energy, and we've been doing this for probably about 10 years. But we do what's called a reverse energy auction. Just think of it as eBay in reverse. When deregulation first started in the state of Texas, we did the typical governmental procurement thing where we developed a solicitation, we went out, we got bids, we came in, we ripped open the envelope, and the lowest bid won. And all the other suppliers in the room are walking out grumbling, going, "I could have beat that, I could have beat that." So then we started working with, we actually went to GSA, who was using the reverse auction for procurement, and we learned about how to do that, and we hired a company and developed this. So what you do is you develop a really tight solicitation that specifies exactly the product that you're looking for, and then you go out and find all of the suppliers that offer that product. Let's use electricity. You provide them with all of your load data. You teach them how to use the platform. And on a particular day, at a particular time, they log onto the computer. And for the next hour, these suppliers beat the heck out of each other. You actually sit there on the screen and watch those bids start coming in. And just think of it. You've got 5 people, 5 different companies in a room across the state of Texas, if not across the country. You've got $20 million sale up there, and they're looking at a screen knowing if I don't go lower, I'm going to lose this contract. So they just keep hammering on each other until they get to the very bottom, and these guys start walking away. And whoever's on the bottom when it's over with, that's who you lock your contract with in. So that's reverse energy auction. We've used it for electricity. We use it for natural gas. It's brutal, and it works out great in the user's arena. Another thing that we do is buy renewable energy. When deregulation first started, that was not something anybody was focused on. By 2005, DFW Airport had decided we wanted to get into that arena, so when we started doing our solicitation, we required our supplier to provide 10% of our energy needs from renewable energy sources. That was our first step into the arena. By 2014, we were up to 40%. And some of the folks here were talking about the Green Power Partnership. We're a part of that. I believe that we're ranked 41 in the nation on the top 100 in the Green Power Partnership, and we're like number 9 in the nation when it comes to local governments. So get involved in those organizations. The executives love it when you get awards. It makes it easier to get money to go do some more stuff. So Green Power Partnership is a big deal. About a year ago, we took all of the things that DFW Airport was doing that was sustainable and put it together, and we applied for this carbon accreditation. And we actually ended up winning an award. Executives go, they get the award, and they turn to the staff and say, you know, how do we get to the next level? Well, that was carbon neutral. That was the next level. So the staff developed a plan to get to carbon neutral. We showed it to the executives, and they said, go do it. DFW Airport became the first international airport outside of Europe to reach carbon neutrality in July of this year. So, and all of that was done through renewable energy purchases, RECs, and things of that nature. We've done solar photovoltaics. We have an 186 kW solar panel at the airport. It produces about 25% of the energy needs for our design, code, and construction building. Almost 100% of our bus fleet is on compressed natural gas. We are currently looking at buying landfill gas to meet our natural gas needs. Don't know if many of you have looked into that, but it's kind of there's not a lot of supply out there, so you got to really know people to be able to get into that, and we're thinking that we may be able to accomplish that. On the demand side management, one of the things we did when we built Terminal D and our new people mover system back in 2005, the airport installed a 6 million gallon thermal storage tank. This has 90,000 ton hours of energy storage. And this was back when deregulation was just coming. Remember, it just started in 2002, and no one really knew whether energy storage was actually going to fit in a deregulated market. But we started looking at the transportation rate. I don't know how many in here are familiar with 4CP, but that's your kind of your demand charges for transmission. We structured the way we use this thermal storage to take advantage of that. ERCOT actually goes and looks at your account 4 times a year to see what your demand is, and that's what they bill you on for 12 months. They look one time in June, July, August, and September. That's the 4 months that they look at. Almost every year that peak is going to occur between 4 and 5 o'clock. So every year in those months, we go off of our chillers and onto our thermal storage tank between those windows. My central utility plant is 20 megawatts at full out. They bill us for 4 because every time they go look at our account, all our chillers are offline and we're on the thermal storage tank. So that's $750,000 a year that we save in transportation costs. That is on top of the commodity cost, because when you're buying electricity at night, when you're chilling that tank, it's cheaper at night than it is in the daytime. So we took an old technology and applied some new strategies we feel is innovative, and it saves us quite a bit of money. Demand response programs. This is something that we had been looking at for several years. We always have companies coming to us trying to get us involved in demand response, and actually I looked for years trying to figure out a way to do this. Finally, ERCOT changed some of their programs, and we were able to get involved with demand response using that same thermal storage tank. So between June, July, August, and September, we play the 4CP game. But when that's over with, I can operate the tank any way that I want to. So what I do is I charge the tank completely full, and then I start operating my chillers. And then if I need more, I start drawing off the tank. But when that tank gets to about 75% depleted, I bring on enough chillers to keep it up. So I keep that tank charged like a battery. And anytime ERCOT calls and says, we need you to go offline, I can immediately shut down all my chillers and go directly to that tank. I'm still providing all of the cooling that's needed for 7.2 million square foot of facilities. So I'm not interrupting service to my customer, but I'm playing this demand response game. And there's not a lot of money to be made there for us. I think we make about $100,000 a year off of it, but I'm showing how we can use this technology and how we can get it done. One of the best things that we have ever done at DFW Airport as far as load reduction is we entered into a relationship with Energy Systems Laboratory out of Texas A&M. This relationship started back in 2004. It was kind of interesting the way it started. We had applied for a NCTCOG grant to do an energy conservation project. ESL had applied for the same money. NCTCOG got both the applications, and they called us up and said, look, the airport has got the facility, but they don't have the expertise. ESL has the expertise. They don't have the facility. If you two will get together, we'll give you the money. So the two of us got together. They gave us the money. We did the project. They reduced the energy consumption in this building over 3 months by 20%. We went to our board of directors and said, look, we need to get in a long-term relationship with this guy. This is really good stuff. They approved it. We executed an interlocal agreement between two governmental entities, and we have now been joined at the hip with Energy Systems Laboratory for 10 years. What they do is they go out and they optimize the performance of the energy-consuming facilities within any building. So the way we do it is every year we identify which buildings we want to work on. The ESL team comes in, we provide them with all the historical data, the energy consumption, the design of the building, what kind of mechanical systems are in it. They come in, they do a meeting with our maintenance contractors and said, look, this is the work that we're going to do. They spend 12 months optimizing the performance. They climb through everything in this building. They look at nighttime setbacks. They look at seasonal adjustments. They check dampers and linkages, and they recalibrate all of the sensors in the building. We've been doing this for 10 years. I have never bought a piece of equipment to put in one of the buildings to facilitate this. Over that 10 years, we've saved over $20 million in energy by just having them optimize the performance of the buildings. Now, a lot of this isn't rocket science. Some of the things, goofy things that they found, like there's one, we went in, we could not figure out why this room was always cold, but the control system was saying that it was hot. So they went in the room, they looked around, we couldn't find the thermostat anywhere until we looked behind the new Coke machine. Okay, and so this Coke machine was shooting heat out the back. The thermostat was saying it was hot. It was turning the air conditioner on, so that was going on. Another place you may be familiar with, our rental car facility. It is a huge cavernous type facility. It has multiple heating and cooling systems in it. And when we built this thing, we build it, we turn it on, we run it, everything, and our energy consumption was through the roof. Well, come to find out, when we would put all of the thermostats around this area, none of the thermostats had deadbands programmed in them. It was either cold or it was hot. So either the chiller was on or the heater was on. So we were simultaneous heating and cooling all the way around this, and that had been going on for 2 years. So they went in and programmed deadbands in these thermostats in that particular building, and in 1 year our energy consumption went down by 28% because of all of the changes that they made in the way we operated the equipment. We didn't change the equipment, we just optimized it. It was a great program. Actually, in 2010, we were nominated for and received a National Energy Project Award from the Association of Energy Engineers for the CC work that we did on Terminal D and Energy Plaza. In Terminal D, we reduced electricity by 9%, chill water by 27%, and hot water by 50%. In the thermal plant, we reduced electricity by 6% and natural gas consumption by 30% over a 2-year period of time. Now we'll get into a little bit of the smaller stuff. LED lighting. Just do it. It's time. Very simple. For 10 years, I was saying no. For 10 years, I had people coming to my office with shoe boxes full of LEDs going, look what I built in my garage, you need this. You would call them a month later and you would get a busy signal because they're not in business anymore, but it's there. We're now using LEDs everywhere. We just built a new parking garage in Terminal E, got LEDs in there. We're applying for Encore's rebate on that. That's a whole other story. We built a new parking garage with LED lights in our administration building. All our traffic lights are. I got a cut on my thumb because I came in and helped the guys install LED lights in our utility tunnel last weekend. So LED lights are there. VFDs, put them on everything. I mean, that's a great technology. The old VFDs, there was some harmonics issues and stuff, but they've got it down now. Chill water pumps, fans, everything, put VFDs on them. VRF or VRV, variable refrigerant flow type systems. We've done everything. We've done air-cooled, we've done water-cooled, we've done split systems, we've done geothermal. Actually, this VRF or VRV, according to which one you want to use, that seems to be it. That's the new technology that's really out there that we're impressed with on especially small to medium-sized buildings. When you get into the larger stuff, you still want to go with the chill water probably. A little nod to the water side of the house. Probably about 4 years ago, the airport entered into a contract with the city of Fort Worth to buy reclaimed water. So we're pulling reclaimed water from the city of Fort Worth in, and it's offset our potable water use by, I think, somewhere around 15 to 20%. So we're moving irrigation to that system. All of the new buildings that go in are using irrigation, and we've actually piped it into our central utility plant. We're using it for cooling tower makeup water. There are some chemical issues that you've got to work through, but you can get there. And the beauty of this, for us anyway, is our potable water system was reaching 50 years old, and we have built and built and built on this airport, so we were nearing the capacity of that system. Instead of having to tear that system down or rebuild it, we brought that reclaimed water system in and offloaded 20% of the potable water to reclaim. Now we have additional room for growth in the potable water system. And that's my presentation. Thank you very much.